Week's lesson, lesson 7. This week we're going to be working on formulas and spreadsheets. Hope you enjoy it. Alright, just some quick notes on this week's lesson. Like I mentioned before, we are going to be working on our formulas and spreadsheets, and specifically using formulas in our spreadsheets. So if you're using Excel, inside Excel, but really any sort of spreadsheet software that's out there, whether it's Excel, Numbers from Apple, Google Docs, whatever spreadsheet you're using, Open Office, all these formulas should work in there. So please watch the video there. I did notice that last week on our discussion boards there was quite a few people having troubles with the videos. My recommendation for that is if for some reason the videos aren't streaming, that could be multiple things. It could be BYU Idaho's servers are slow, maybe your internet's a little slow. I mean, there's a lot of factors that could go into the videos not playing, so it's hard to really pinpoint what's the main problem. So my recommendation is if it's not streaming, to go ahead and download the video. I'll show a quick screenshot right now. Just at the bottom of the page of the video, you'll see there's just a little button there that says download. You can click on that, it'll download the file to your computer, and then you don't have to worry about streaming it, and you should get the video in full resolution and be able just to watch it without having to stream it. So anyways, hopefully the video works well this week and you're able to see that. Other than that, there's two other main things that are going on this week. Two fairly large things, so it's a pretty important week here as we approach lesson 7. The first one being our portfolio project. So this week we will be submitting the second round of the budget and expenses worksheet. You submitted the first one back in lesson 3. Hopefully over the last month you've been tracking those, you've been keeping a budget. Not necessarily that you have to be on target of your budget, because I know as you start budgeting, it's not exactly easy to always hit your budget first month, but just that you are that you do have a budget and that you are tracking your expenses against that budget. So that's going to be due at the end of the week. Feel free to upload that. I just want to real quick pull up here the rubric to kind of show you what I'll be grading against. So if you're wondering, okay, what do I need to make sure this has so I can get full credit? This is pretty much cut and paste exactly how I'm going to go through it. So a few things to make sure, it's an electronic file, that you're tracking your expenses, and you're comparing it to a budget. But this last one you'll learn this week as you learn about formulas and spreadsheets. You got to be using the sum function. So what that is inside your spreadsheet, you want to be summing up or adding up an entire column or row of expenses or whatever it be, using that function. So I'm going to be looking for that in each of your spreadsheets. If you're not using the sum function, then I am going to have to dock a couple of points. So a side note of that, just to make sure when you upload your file this week, please make sure you're uploading the actual the actual spreadsheet. I know a few people, sometimes you'll save them as PDFs and upload them. That's not going to work, because on a PDF I'm not going to be able to see if you use the sum function or not. I need to be able to open it in the spreadsheet software. So I think most have reached out to me, and I can open any spreadsheet software that you send me. So don't worry about, if you're using something else, I'll be able to open it. But yeah, make sure that you're using that sum function. That's going to be a big one. The big thing, that's kind of the new thing for this one that wasn't there on lesson 3. The other thing from lesson 3, I noticed a lot of people didn't have their budgets on there. Just make sure that you get that added on there. If you have any questions, feel free to to reach out to me and ask me beforehand. The next big thing, and this is what I'm saying, it feels like a pretty heavy week, is our exam 2 is happening this week. So the second exam of the semester. It's going to be covering lessons 5, 6, and 7. So you can go back and look at those notes and that you have from there. Look at the past quizzes. And if you have any questions before you take the quiz, please let me know. I'll try and clarify anything, maybe if you didn't understand something from a previous lesson. But the main things to know about for the exam is that this one's a little bit different than the first one, in that you can use a calculator on this one. You can also use a spreadsheet if you'd like. A spreadsheet really is just can just be a calculator. So you can use a calculator, you can use a spreadsheet, and you can use the formula sheet. On the exam page, there's a link to that formula sheet. It basically takes all those pages in your books and just makes it into like 2 pages of nice tables. So, I mean, if you're using the ones from the book, that's fine too. The link on there is really just kind of a condensed version of that, so you don't have to have multiple pages. You can just have all your formulas that you would need in 2 pages. So those are allowed on the exam this week. So please feel free to use those. And then as far as the scoring goes, same as before, if you score below a 75%, you will be required to retake the exam. If you score above a 75%, but you would like to retake the exam, that's totally fine as well. Same thing as before, get with a tutor or myself to go over any problems that you didn't understand, and then I can go ahead and reopen that when you're ready. So if you meet with a tutor, just send me an email, let me know you met with a tutor, you're good to go, and I'll reopen the exam for you. And that's really all the main things for this week. Well, I guess part of the exam, you do have a visual chart that's under the portfolio section as well. Similar to the one before, you're not actually uploading the chart, you're just taking a quick quiz saying whether or not you did it. But really, this is a pretty packed week, and I know it's even harder because it falls on President's Day, and so for a lot of people it's a shortened week. But I know you can do it. If you've been tracking those expenses all along so far, hopefully that's not going to be too much work for you there. You can just upload that file and call it good, and then just start focusing on that exam. So I hope you all have a great week, and let me know if you need anything.